Yeah, both of you guys, obviously coming from smaller schools on the G5 level, how has the transition been with competition adjusting to everything?
I started first. Really, it's not really. I don't really feel like it's really a change. It's just guys is bigger and faster, and me being me, I just know how to adjust to different situations and lining up against guys that I played guys that been at the best of the best. So I understand like being at the SEC, I'm gonna play the best of the best, and I just come out every day and be ready.
I would say the same thing. Competition level is definitely up there. I'll say the difference between the G5 level and playing in the SEC is you see the difference between O-line and D-line. They can move faster, like you said. They can move faster, a bit more twitchier at the DN position. But at the end of the day, it's competing. So,
Mike, why do you think that? I mean, obviously you came from New York, which for some reason doesn't produce a whole lot of football players.
Yeah.
You went to Buffalo, and then you hit the portal, New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? Obviously, it's clear that you can play on this level. What do you think kept you from at both of your stops, from high school, from Buffalo, to making it to the SEC until now?
Well, coming out of high school, I was highly recruited. When I was a junior, I was highly recruited, but it was all G5 schools. After that, COVID had ended up hitting. I remember like it was yesterday, just before COVID, Texas A&M, they wanted me to come to one of their camps, and me and my family, we felt as though once they could see how I move, probably end up offering me as long as with other schools also. But COVID ended up hitting, and in New York they shut everything down. I believe Texas too, so that kind of like ended everything. I wasn't able to visit any schools. Actually, when I had transferred to New Mexico State, that was actually my first official visit that I've ever taken. So yeah, COVID kind of ruined a lot of things, but we're still here. So,
Mike, how do you feel like you and Braylon Russell kind of complement each other skill set wise?
Well, Braylon, he's a great guy. So off the field, me and him joke a lot. We kind of have a great relationship off the field. And it kind of translates on the field too. The way he runs, strong, powerful, downhill runner. I kind of have that same attribute with a little bit more speed. So, with that, it's just a 1-2 punch that I feel like is a very dangerous combo.
And then Quintavious, with the secondary, there's a lot of new faces, not a ton of super experienced veterans. Just what's that kind of room like, especially as a new person coming in with a lot of other new guys?
Well, just having Larry and Miguel being guys that played here before and understood the system, it allowed us to have an easy transition because they was able to help guys understand different schemes and terminologies within the room and just understand what Coach T. Will and Coach Wilson expect each and every day.
Quintavious, you mentioned Coach T. Will there. What stood out from him, from a recruiting standpoint, made you want to come here, and also what you've seen from him in practice so far this spring?
Oh, I loved everything about Coach T. Will. Like his energy, it was unmatched. I understand like he's a guy that wants you to compete each and every day, no matter what. And effort. He preached that every day. Effort. He just runs to the ball. And what made me come here is, of course, I knew a guy like Cam Ball. We grew up together. We played Little League football. And so he helped that adjustment as well. And for me, I just wanted to show that I can play at the highest level of college football, which is the SEC. And I knew coming from the group of 5, a lot of people don't look at guys like that, like they can play at the highest level. But me just being me, I knew I was the type of guy that can be here and help this team win.
Were you and Cam on the same team in youth league or going up against each other?
Yeah, we played on the same team in youth league.
He was a defensive tackle back then, and you were a safety, same thing?
Yes,
cool.
sir.
One more for you. I know in the safeties you got Larry, Miguel, Caleb. A lot of those guys are rotating around, doing different spots. I don't know if we've seen you do too much rotation. What's it been like kind of watching them kind of find different spots, and what do you think is your best qualities as a safety, what you bring to the room?
First, what I bring to the room is physicality and just knowledge of the game. This is my 5th year of college football, so I've seen a lot of different schemes, a lot of different techniques and stuff like that. So I feel like I can translate that to this highest level and also teach a lot of guys some of the things I know. And just seeing them guys play different positions, it shows how versatile the secondary is. So like each and every guy, we can play every position. And honestly, I could play every position as well. I just haven't done it yet.
for either one of you guys, since you both came from Group of Five schools, but specifically when you're talking about speed and physicality, how much of a difference have you noticed between here and where you guys were practicing on a regular basis last year or the couple of years before?
With me, I kind of, like I said, the only difference is really the O-line, D-line. Other than that, with me, I was going against, All-American. I don't know if you guys know him, Sean Dolak. He's an All-American, led the nation in tackles last year. I was going against him, my freshman year, sophomore year, every day. So I kind of got, used to that speed, that physicality. So that's why, it's a part of, my run game now. I kind of like instilled it in my head that, I got to run hard. So it's not much of a difference, secondary level, but I would say O-line, D-line.
Yeah, like I reiterate that, like with the receivers and stuff like that, like the speed levels is kind of the same. It's like you're going to find speed at every level at receiver. Like it's on no matter what. But with O-line and D-line, these guys that's bigger, faster, and stronger. So you got to make sure you take the steps to get bigger, faster, and stronger as well.
And with both of you guys, coming to different schools, and especially you, Mike. I mean, this is your third school that you're on. In this, how easy is it to, when you're going from school to school or program to program, just to acclimate, whether it's terminology, whether it's meshing in the locker room? What's kind of the biggest challenges to all that?
In terms of terminology on the field, everything is kind of the same. I would say the only thing here is a lot of things are blocked differently. But, inside zone will always be inside zone. Wide zone will always be wide zone. Running a stretch or running a diagonal will always, be that at, just about every level. It's more so understanding the name of the play and, like, formation the house ran, really. But, yeah, that's in terms of on the field.
On the field, as a DB, of course, you got to understand different terms, and at different places, different terminologies for different formations, so you have to adjust to that. And also, just make sure you get help with the guys, like the guys around you. That's how you get the biggest impact on learning different things. So I feel like just getting together with them, talking about different things, and helping them understand different schemes, why they help you understand different schemes, and getting there with your position coach, they help you. That's the biggest thing.
Quintavious, what was the name of that youth league team you were on with Cam? Do you remember?
The Welcome All Panthers.
The what?
Welcome All Panthers.
Welcome All Panthers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't play on any other teams aside that with him?
No, I did. I played different teams. We played against each other as well.
Yeah. Did y'all keep in touch always from youth league, or
we fell off a little bit, and then we started back talking a little bit during college.
when you hit the transfer portal, did you know he was at Arkansas?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it wasn't like, oh, I remember you. It wasn't like that.
Oh no, I already knew he was here, and plus, Kana had committed as well, which he was on our team in Little League as well.
Okay. So, welcome all Panthers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mike, how did you end up at Arkansas? You entered the transfer portal. Like, what was it that I guess kind of funneled you this way?
Coming here, well, I was, I'm pretty sure everybody knew I was committed to Utah. One thing about me, once I'm committed somewhere, that's where I'm going. With them, it kind of was like they were holding off on me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't want to say why, or I honestly, I don't know why. Was able to, get a visit here, and, right away I just felt like I was wanted. And that was like one of the main things, like, going somewhere where you're wanted, where, they want you to be on the field, So that was like one of the main things that, led me to, come here, and then also academics, making sure I could, graduate and, get my, degree. So that was like one of the main things.
So, like, no youth league connections?
Nah,
nothing like
nah,
that? Did
no
you know
connections.
anybody on the roster at all?
Nah, I don't know anybody. I believe I'm like one of the only people from New York up here too. So, yeah.
Was it Coach Smith that reached out to you first?
Yeah, it was Coach Smith. Yeah.
How did that first conversation go?
It went good. He asked me, he was like, "You want to play in the SEC?" And it was like one of them things where it's like, it was a no-brainer. It's kind of crazy because when at New Mexico State last year, we had played A&M. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I could play on this level. And then it kind of like worked itself out.
One more question, Quintavious. You'd mentioned like everybody's kind of moving around a little bit. It seems like Caleb and Larry and Miguel even yesterday working some at nickel. Why do you think you haven't worked there yet?
I just feel like we got a lot of guys that can play nickel, and in the boundary we don't have them as many. So I feel like, I mean, focus on one thing at a time and be able to play that position if they need me to be there.
Mike, just kind of looking at your numbers, I think you had more pass catches your freshman year at Buffalo than either of the next two. We've seen you kind of go out, run some routes, and flash with the hands a little bit. Is that something that you've been looking forward to maybe getting back in your game this year? I mean, is that something you feel like you weren't able to show the past couple seasons? What's your confidence level catching, running routes out of the backfield, stuff like that?
It's definitely up there. Confidence level is definitely up there. You know, basically just being able to be all around back. That's my goal for the season. Every down back. You know, there's no need. Just being every down back. Yeah.
Is your mentality like? Is there like a chip on your shoulder? Or are you just out here to play football? Or are you just trying to prove something to yourself? Or are you just doing what you do? Like, what's your mentality?
Definitely got a chip on my shoulder. I'm from New York, so that's kind of like, you know, the thing out there, you know, having a chip on your shoulder, especially with football, because, you know, New York is an overlooked state. So really being able to be on the stage and prove, you know, myself right, and, you know, everybody else, you know, kind of wrong, you know, to look at New York, look at schools and high schools in New York and players in New York, because there's talent. It's just hidden.